So it's been a lot of regrets here, you know.
Every time you say that, it just reminds me of what's that movie with the people who pretend to be a family so they can smuggle drugs?
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Yeah, get the tattoo.
Yeah. That's where I got it from.
Oh, no. And it was like, you don't have just one.
And I have many regrets. So
you know what's funny? I don't have very many. The main one is like, if I had a time machine, could go back and change something. Honestly, I think I would tell us to go to a historical Black college. Because one, we would have moved out of this area. I feel like a change of scenery would have been good for us. Like, completely different. Two, like, even though, you know, you're not Black.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Also, no, but not other people. You've seen Drumline, you know. They sprinkle a few of the others in, too.
No, that's
and you're
true.
an other. You're also not white, so I assume that you get an extra point.
Don't say that.
In my mind, I would assume that it's harder for them to get in than anybody else because that space wasn't made for them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I'm not like trying to be racist. Yeah. I'm just saying that I would assume that it'd be more difficult for them to get into the school than it would be for anyone else.
Yeah. Well, they have so many more schools to choose from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, so many other ones. But yeah, I feel like if we would have gone. Oh, I can see Toki in your mirror.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why
I can't see him on the bed, but I can see him in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of creepy sometimes. Like, I'll look in here and I'll be like, oh, shit. And then he pops up like, dude, warning. Like something.
Saying the same thing. Like, where'd you come from? I was asleep.
But yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we would have had a good time at one of those schools. I feel like we would have probably gotten like the regular college experience instead of like this random one that we've both had.
Oh, yeah.
This journey we've been on.
Well, we had community college experience, and I think neither of one of us, first of all, wanted to go. Well, I didn't want to go to the university everyone was going to. And then the one I got accepted to, I couldn't afford. And then I was just sad because I ended up having to go to community college, and then just my whole life derailed.
Ooh.
Wow. Does he have a bachata playing or something? Like,
no, that was some cats fighting outside somewhere.
Oh, I thought like the party was starting somewhere and the beer was going and that yell was coming.
I almost want to
check that your cat's in there. That's a good idea.
No, he in here. Ooh, hold on.
Ooh, they're gonna fight through the door.
The fight sounds close. Hold on, girl, it is my cat.
I told you. I knew it. We always think that our babies are the ones who are well behaved, but you know, sometimes we are mistaken.
It was outside, okay? Not a cat on the outside cussing out my cat on the inside, okay? And vice versa.
Is your cat outside?
No, he's inside.
Oh, because I see you put your sweats on like you gotta go outside.
Alright. I successfully got the door closed without being scratched up.
Hey. That's always a plus.
Have you seen those videos on Instagram where it's a food place and they put up a sign, only one person is allowed to cry in the freezer at a time due to COVID?
That sucks. That's like where you meet all your friends at. Y'all crying about probably the same thing.
Yeah, it could be the same person because sometimes, sometimes these customers rampage and verbally victimize everybody for no reason. Yeah. Like,
talking about the same person, man, tell me why one of my little brothers sent me a video and it was pretty much showing this one dude who took out two chicks to the same restaurant on Valentine's Day. And it's like, it's recorded. So pretty much what he did was, I guess he had asked one lady to come in, right? So he went on a date with her first. Then he scheduled the other girl, probably like 5 minutes before he was going to be done with the other girl. So now they're both there. So he tries to be like all romantic and be like, oh, I got a gift for you, babe. But you have to wear this blindfold. So he puts a blindfold on her. And while she has a blindfold on, he sneaks the lady in. And he goes, sits down. You know, they sit down. They have a little chit chat. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I have to go get this call. Goes back to the other girl. Takes off the blindfold. And then he's all like, oh, here's your gift. And she's like, oh my gosh, so nice. Thanks. And then he's like, oh, hold on. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Goes to the other chick. And then he's like, oh, I have a surprise for you. Put this blindfold on. puts it on. He's like, oh, I'll be right back. Goes back to the other chick, escorts her out in front of the chick who's wearing the blindfold, gets a taxi for her, gives her a kiss, comes right back, takes a blindfold off the other one, gives her a gift, and then he resumes his date with her. That was
It's crazy because that sounds familiar. Like it was on like a kid show back in the 90s.
They're really doing it now. They're
like on
they took
Teen
notes.
Nick.
They took
like
notes.
On Teen Nick, but I feel like they got caught on the show. If you can remember what show this was, or if anybody remembers what show this was, please let us know. Like, message us on the Instagram, because I swear this sounds familiar.
I didn't watch Nickelodeon, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But, like, no, this thing worked for this dude, like, 100%. And I'm sure he got extra points because, they was both real excited. And it was just funny. One of them, he gave her
way too trusting.
Yeah.
Way too trusting, because you can't blindfold me nowhere. I'm one of those people, I ask too many questions. One year... What was this? Oh, last year before the world shut down for my birthday, I had figured it out. I had told my friends it'd be nice to have a surprise party. Mm-hmm. And I had told them like that I wanted a party for my birthday. And then, you know me, somebody said some stuff doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. I jotted down on my mental notebook. Mm-hmm. And I compared the clues later. And so what ended up happening was... me and Anthony decided to go to Universal Studios because we have season passes and that's where we would usually go anyway. Mm-hmm. Which I need more people to go with because he's probably not going to renew his pass and I don't want to go with him anyway. But yeah, so we went. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm going to have friends over later so we can't stay that long. Mind you, this is the weekend after, right after my birthday.
Y'all got the same friends pretty much though.
No, we have different friends. We have a friend group that we both have. But he has a whole bunch of friends that I don't know nor care about. Mm-hmm. And so the whole thing, it was going to be those friends, the ones that are his friends, that are not my friends, that were coming over. I'm the type of person where something like that, I don't care about his other friends. Mm-hmm. I want to stay at Universal Studios as long as I want. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he was doing sus stuff like because we had the balcony, which you can completely see our entire balcony coming up the stairs. Mm-hmm. He put paper, like butcher paper, around the side of it so you couldn't see in.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so I was like, okay, but I just act like it wasn't weird.
Yeah, he was probably gonna murder you for all you knew.
Just right after my birthday. Yeah. I think I want to say I read a statistic that says that you're more likely to die around your birthday than any other day of the year.
Yeah, and he was like, putting stuff up, American Psycho like.
Yeah, it was premeditated.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so we go, and he's like constantly which he always does that. He's one of those people that is always on his phone and then will later tell you that he didn't see your message. I'm like, you lying, because you're always on your phone. But I'm like, you could just tell me the truth that you didn't feel like answering, because I can understand that, because I'm just like I'm flaky. I'm a flaky, like, sometimes I show up, sometimes I don't.
That is definitely
sometimes
me.
I say I'll show up and I still don't. And it's the same with my messaging. So sometimes I'll message you back, sometimes I won't.
Yeah,
sometimes I'll open the message, and sometimes I'll see that you sent it and I won't open it on purpose until I'm ready. Like, so he just being really weird. And then at the same time, like, all of my friends were like, our collective, our camp friends, are like all messaging throughout the day on the group chat. So I'm like, obviously they all had time to kick it today. Mm-hmm. Well, most of them. Mm-hmm. And so then he's like rushing me out the park. And I'm like, dude, like, we always stop at this store. Like, we always do this. We always go to Hot Topic. All of that. And so then we finally come. Mm-hmm. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it's either they are throwing me a surprise party, or he's really bringing his coworkers, and I also still really don't care about them. So, like, I was on pretty much my own time frame, and we get back, and I go to, like, check the mail, because one of us usually goes, and he's getting, like, an attitude about it, like, oh, dang, like, why you checking the mail? Like, we usually do. He's not discreet at all. Yeah. Me, if I was the person that's distracting the person for the surprise party, they would not have known.
Yeah, I would be like,
I'm way more discreet. I try to be as regular as possible. Yeah. He was not being regular at all. He was not being regular. So I checked the mail and then come up, and then, they jump out, and I was like, oh, wow. And then they was like, dang, like, you knew. But I was still excited. Like, it was like Harry Potter themed.
That's cute.
They had put up, like, one wall had put up like this Hogwarts like plasticky thing up, and they had got like photo booth like Harry Potter decorations, and
that's nice. They put a lot of effort. That's cute.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I still have the wall thing, and I was gonna put it up in here in front of my closet, but it's gonna have to. I'm not putting it up until after I clean out my closet, because if I put that up, then I'll go in my closet less, and it won't ever get cleaned out.
No. Yeah, no, you need to have that.
I haven't put it up yet. Yeah. I haven't put it up yet. Really, like, my room be messy all the time, but it's usually my clothes everywhere.
Yeah.
The last place that needs to be really cleaned out is my closet. Because under my bed, it's messy, but it's not, like, I don't have a whole bunch of stuff under there, because I have, like, the containers that have, like, things organized. It's, like, I have one that has, like, all my hair stuff, and, like, another one that has, like, lotion or whatever in it, and I have one that has, like, mixed random things. But other than that, most of under my bed is empty.
Well, you need to have that empty in case, there's a burglar and you got to go under the bed.
But that's one of the first places they would look.
Well, you got to have your sword down there. Like, I showed you my samurai sword. Well, not my samurai sword, but Carlos' samurai sword. And I'm taking that under the bed with me so I could poke them as they come,
You're like, how? You come down here, I'm stabbing anything that comes under this bed.
Man, that reminds me of the time my mom poked the shit out of me under the bed with the fucking broom and shit like that. Like,
No, I have this thing which is supposed to help with the hair, but I think that plus my vacuuming is getting up like the cat hair mixed with my hair that be stuck in the carpet. And it's metal, so I'm like, worst case scenario, I just grab that and start swinging.
Hey, you gotta have some form of safety.
I'm also, like, horrible at taking, like, cups, mainly my cups and eating utensils out the room, so there's almost always a kitchen knife in here that's not supposed to be in here. A fork.
I have a kitchen knife for a fork. Which am I grabbing? The fork. I think it sounds worse if you get dismembered with the fork than if you get dismembered with a kitchen knife. Like,
oh yeah, it's like in Cabin in the Woods, where they had the guy who was the fool, and he dismembered the zombie, the redneck zombie, with the, like, what was it? Like a gardening trowel or something?
Oh, yeah, I do remember him saying, like, a trowel or a dowel. I don't remember, but something like that.
It was pretty much a small, like pointed shovel, basically.
Yeah.
And he broke down the entire body, like,
yeah.
So he can't get up and try to eat him.
Well, I guess I'm not as hardcore. Also, would have got a spoon, but,
Hey, you got to work with what you have, and that was the only thing that was around. The crazy thing is, how was that around? He got lucky that was around.
Well, remember, wasn't he, like, in a shed or something like that?
I remember he was outside. I can't remember if he was in a shed. I know they fell into that compartment, which was the elevator. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't remember.
If y'all haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, y'all missing out. You guys need to see Cabin in the Woods.
Good. I still remember, because I hadn't watched it because it looked like, because, we love horror movies.
So much.
But I'm more of a, like, I like the slasher movies. Or, like, like suspense. I like those.
I can't do suspense. Like, I'm gonna die. I feel like the suspense gets me way more than the actual, like, pop out.
And then a lot of those, it'd be less murders and stuff in there. It's more like trying to figure it out.
The whole time.
That's why I love Alfred Hitchcock movies. Like, love them. Matter of fact, some random person came into my store one day, and I forgot how we ended up talking about it. And I was like, dude, you never seen an Alfred Hitchcock movie? And I'm just naming, you gotta watch this one, you gotta watch this one, you gotta watch this one. And he was like, those actually sound really, really good. I'm trying to look those up. Because, I love The Birds. I love Psycho. What is that? North by Northwest is really good. Strangers on a Train is really good. Like,
did he do Vertigo?
Yes, Vertigo. Which, fun fact, Lady Gaga mentions Vertigo, Psycho, and what else? Because it was 3.
Oh, an American Horror.
One of her songs. Oh, one of her songs.
Yeah. You know what?
It was a Bad Romance. Bad Romance.
Oh, I don't know how people can categorize, like, gore films or, like, torture.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't like the torture porn movies. Yeah, I don't like those at all.
Like, I don't know how those can, like, okay, yes, I'm sure if you're getting torture or whatever, it's very horrific and, like, scary for the person getting it done to.
On the base level, yes, but where's the rest of the story?
Yeah, I don't even want, like, I don't even want to have any part of it. Please just give me, like, just the slasher film. Like, this dude is crazy. He's got a knife and he's ready. Like, you know.
Exactly. Crazy guy with a knife. We work with that.
And they can be very, like, you know, there's a lot of gore in there, too. Sometimes they can get decapitated with a straight knife. Like, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you could be
on one end, which is like Scream, and then the other end, which is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, you know, those are all categorized.
Really good.
I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is as gory as you should get. It shouldn't get worse than that.
No.
Because at some parts it gets real bad, you know? In other parts it doesn't. So it shouldn't get worse than that. Like, I personally have only seen the first 2 Saw movies, and that's it.
Oh, I just got the what is it? The Cliff Notes?
I've seen the first 2 and that's it. And then, like, what was that? Hostel. I did not like that.
This whiskey sour is really good. It's so good. I haven't eaten, so I have worked all day and I have not eaten. So this whiskey sour is this whiskey sour is the first thing I'm having as sustenance today.
We're gonna have a rough time. All right, let's do it.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Item 9 Podcast. This is Hyra.
And Kim.
Thank you guys for joining us again this week. Hope you guys are having a great day. So Kim, tell us what we got going on.
All right, so I mean, I'm gonna shout this friend out, but they don't be listening, so it doesn't really matter. But okay, so I had already started doing, because it's my week, research on a different topic. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't, like, written anything down. I had just, like, you know, watched some stuff, but hadn't actually put the concrete notes down. Mm-hmm. And then one of my friends, I saw them the other day, and he was like, hey, like, does your podcast talk about conspiracy theories?
Always.
And I was like, we talk about everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is it? Mm-hmm. And so he didn't, like, know how to say the name. Mm-hmm. But so he showed me, like, a picture of some podcast that he listened to that had talked about it. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about, it's the names are Russian, so I'm just going to apologize now with my pronunciation.
Don't forget, is there a lot of...
No, but just, you know, different places put different letters together.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the Dyatlov Pass incident. Moving toward the Earth's enormous velocity.
Higher.
Thank you.
Knowledge far in advance of our own.
That's a smart thing.
Contact has established. We now transmit you direct. Item 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific.
I have no idea what that is.
I hadn't heard about it either.
Zero
but then when
clue.
I looked it up, there was so many videos and stuff about it. I didn't watch everything because I didn't have enough time.
I am so fucking excited. Oh, okay. I love hearing shit from other places that is not America. Let's do
because
it.
We definitely don't know. They barely tell us about the stuff that happens here. Okay, so I told you my notes are everywhere. This is where I'm going to start. All right, so
just start the bitch off.
About February 26th, 1959.
1959? We in the 50s?
Yes, the 50s.
All right.
A group of rescuers go because they're looking for a team of people who were going to go like on a ski trip / you know, hiking trip thing.
Hold on. Are these the people who go missing in the snow and then they find, like, their clothes, like, neatly, like...
No.
Oh.
What is that? Neatly folded? What is that?
I think it was neatly folded.
Because that sounds vaguely familiar, too. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was like, did I find it?
So, yeah. So, basically, this group went up there. They were also basically trying to move up in, like, certification for this type of terrain, like rough terrain or whatever, like being able to maneuver through it. Mm-hmm. So they were all experienced. Like, none of these people, this was not nobody's first go around. They were all experienced in this sort of thing.
Yeah. So are these people kind of like doing like rough terrain rescues? Is that what they're trying to do?
Well, no. Okay. The people who are missing were the ones who were experienced. So basically they went on this trip because it was basically a break in school because they were all college students. And then when they came back after completing this trip, because they were given, the route and stuff, that they would have all moved up in like rank when it comes to this type of terrain.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. And so they were supposed to come back early February, I think around the 12th. They did not come back. They had told, friends and family or whatever that they might stay up a few extra days. So that's why no one looked for them right away. They were probably like, they're going to stay up there for a little bit longer. So end of February, still no word from them. Rescuers go looking for them.
Okay.
On February 26, 1959, the first 2 bodies are found. They were in a tree line, which ended up being about a mile away from the campsite. The first 2 people that they found were... altogether, there was, I think, 9 people. So the first 2 were... Some of these people have the same name. What? Oh, sorry.
I was raising my hand. Sorry.
Yeah. That's how I be as a teacher. What?
I'm looking at this wide open mouth behind you. Can you turn that off? Because that's low-key creeping me out a little bit.
Oh, it's from Jurassic Park.
I'm just looking at it. I'm like, I'm just like...
It's the video says why you wouldn't survive Jurassic Park. I gotta finish watching that.
I feel like whenever we're on, you always put something creepy or something weird, and it just like, I'm just like...
It's not on purpose. I guess I just be watching weird stuff.
I do too, but like... I'm waiting for when you're like, all right, I'm gonna be on. Let me put like some Care Bear on or some Care Bears on or something like that.
I wouldn't even watch that. That's
well, just for like background, for me, so I could feel like safe and happy.
But I think that video is made by the same guy. Because I know there's a YouTuber that like breaks down like how you would survive in like difficult situations to be in movies. And I know one of them, he has a video on how you would survive the purge. And he even factored in 3 different economical, like, places. So if you were poor, like homeless, to being, like, a regular class person like us, to being someone that is rich, how you would be able to survive in each of those categories.
I probably wouldn't.
He put... No, we would. Because I tell my coworkers this all the time because I like the movie The Purge. And we talk about it. The Purge only happens in the United States.
Lucky us.
We could just, where we live in California, we can just roll on down to Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
For not even a whole 24 hours. They would probably, because capitalism, they'd probably have like a festival, an anti-purge festival where they could charge us and we can drink and have a good time during the purge and not die. And then come back home. Like, you have to think about this. And the same thing in Canada. If you lived in like Northern California or northern states and you don't want to participate, like, those are accessible goals for us, like, on the edges, Yeah. I know it'll probably cost more for people who are in the middle, but at the same time, you want to survive. You got to figure out these trips.
Yeah.
And book them ahead of time. Because we could drive to Mexico, like...
Yeah. But you know what? I feel like, even for, like, the purge, I think, like, it'd be perfect, like, right now. Like, for all the doomsday preppers who have bunkers and stuff like that, I feel like if I lived in purge era, I would be a doomsday prepper. Like, that would just be my life. Like, I'd be saving, and, like, I wouldn't tell anyone, but I'm building my secret bunker somewhere so no one finds me.
But that's the thing. Doomsday preppers tell people that they're prepping.
Oh, I'm not going to. I'm going to be like...
They tell people.
People aren't going to know.
People would know. Somebody would let some slip, some delivery person. Because that's how it'd be. Remember we were talking about... the Branch Davidians.
Oh, yeah.
So there's always, it only takes one person to open their mouth up.
Yeah.
To just wreck the whole game.
Let's see.
The cheapest and most effective solution for us is to just
go to Mexico.
Leave the country for a few hours.
Yeah. That's true. Probably go to my parents' homeland.
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah. That is not here, and
we're
out.
We'd be like,
and we only have to. We'd even have to. It doesn't even have to be a whole trip. That's what I mean. Like, we could literally leave, and then be able to go back to work the next day.
Oh, I probably
depending on how good that festival. Yeah. Well, but you have to think in times of purge, because like they have purge insurance and stuff, which that also spoiler alert for the Purge films. In election year, they had that whole issue where it's like, it's so corrupt and these companies take advantage of it. They had, one of the characters was a guy who was a local, like, you know, he got a small business, so like, it's like a corner store. Mm-hmm. And literally the day before the Purge, his insurance, because he pays for Purge insurance, so if something happens to this store, you know, they're supposed to cover it. The day before, they tell him that he has to pay more money or else they're not going to cover him for the Purge.
Dang.
And it's like he's been paying all year because it's insurance. And the day before, they're trying to capitalize. And then so that's how he ends up out. Him and one of his employees end up out because they basically are trying to protect the store. Jeez. And so I'm pretty sure a lot of companies would do things like that. And so a lot of our jobs, because they already be saying crazy stuff to us sometimes when we want time off, would probably block it out. Like, you're not allowed to, or only one person's allowed to get Purge night off or something. So there's this video on, like, an Instagram video where this guy made, like, because it's like a compilation of his videos, but one of them is like working during the Purge. Because I guarantee some of these stores will probably try to stay open.
Probably like a 7-Eleven or something.
Yeah, and it was a store. And so it was like him talking to a customer. And they're like, dang, they got you working on Purge night? And he's like, yep. And they're like, anybody, like, you know.
Try to murder you yet?
Somebody. And he was like, oh, like, my manager got stabbed in that aisle or whatever over there. He's just like, I don't know what to tell you. And then, like, he tells the customer, like, their balance. And they're like, oh, I don't have any money. I can't pay for this. I'm just going to take it because, you know, the Purge. And he's like, well, I ain't have change to give you back anyway because somebody already came in here and robbed because, you know, the Purge. Man.
There's so many things about the Purge that just don't make any sense. Like, it just doesn't. Like, how much damage and stuff like that the city has to pay back later.
Well, I also think that it's probably certain areas, so like downtown areas, definitely, because that's people were clustering in those spaces.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think a lot of homes are probably going to be okay unless someone had a specific Purge situation with you, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So it would be like certain areas would be affected. Like the looting, it was, you know, areas where, you know, people converge on were the places that people went. So basically all the places that got looted in the summer will be the places that would have the Purge kills and stuff at.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff like, what's even the point of that store being open when, like, you know, no one's gonna pay for that shit. Like,
yeah, but that was just that guy's video, so it wasn't the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just that guy's video. In the movie, everything shuts down because it's not even a whole 24 hours like the Purge. What I didn't understand was, like, in the first movie, there's a couple. No. The second movie, there's like a couple out doing errands and stuff that day. Like, it's a regular day.
Yeah, like, that's what I was gonna say. I remember the first one was something like that. Like, they went out and then...
Yeah, but that was before.
Yeah.
That was before the time.
I don't know. Like, I feel like for me, that day would just be like, all right, y'all, I'm shutting down. Purge day. I'm leaving work early. But like you said, it just depends on work.
It's up to your job. Because in the third one, you have a mom who's a waitress. And then, like, they literally, like, they have closed up, got all the customers and stuff out, and then her and the rest of her coworkers are literally, like, waiting for the boss to tell them they could leave.
I don't know. I don't know.
The Purge is pretty realistic, except for that last one. The last one, there was, like, continuity errors. The last one is called The First Purge, which is supposed to tell you how they even got to this point. Mm-hmm. Which some of that stuff was like, okay, but then there's, like, technology and stuff that doesn't exist in the other movies, and you're just like, if this takes place before, like, where are these drones at? Where are these contacts with the cameras in it? Like, yeah, they was doing too much.
I know I saw some of one of the Purges, and that was just because, okay, so I had one of my favorite residents when I was working at the nursing home, right? And he had wounds that I had to do, and this dude fucking loves horror movies. So the Purge happened to be on, and it's funny, I'm in the middle of doing his wounds, but his wounds took me forever to do that day, just because me and him were just so busy watching the Purge.
Wait, and it's like, were you watching the movies of the show? Because they have the show now, too.
No, it was a movie. It was a movie. I think it was one where this guy is like some sort of like gangbang or something like that. Oh, was it the show? And then Or like what this girl's brother tries to join, and then she gets mad and she goes to see that dude. She's like, don't put him in here. And he's like, well, I'm not trying to put him in here or whatever. And it was just, I don't know. I don't really remember.
Maybe that was the first Purge. Because I know the first Purge, it wasn't a gang he was trying to join. He wanted to purge because they were offering people money because it was like on Staten Island. And so they were offering people money to stay on the island.
I think it was that one. Yeah, it was that one because people were like taking money. That's why they were staying and stuff like that. It was like it was the first one because they were just testing it out.
Yeah, that's where it gets confusing because the first Purge is the last Purge movie that came out.
Okay, so
I don't know why they named it that. I don't know why they named it that.
Well, that's what I was watching. Yeah,
it should have been like Purge Origins or the Purge the Beginning or something like that. Don't name the last movie in the franchise, which I heard they were supposed to be making one more, but don't name the last one the first Purge, like, because when you talk about the movies in order and you mention the first Purge, you mean the first one that came out
or the title first Purge.
Yeah, which one? It gets confusing.
Yeah,
because I don't know, the actual first one is low-key a little bit boring because it's a family that has more money. Like, I don't identify with them.
Oh, I did see that one.
Because it's in their house. It takes place in their house. But then the second and third ones, and even the fourth one, you know, minus some of the stuff, those people are more regular people like you and me. And so you feel them. Because like in the second one, they have the whole thing where that's where the issue with the government comes in. And you find out that, you know, a lot of poorer people are just locking down in their apartments and homes and stuff.
Yeah.
And not enough people are being killed during that night. So they're going through ripping people out of the buildings. And so two of the main characters, a mother and daughter, their building unfortunately gets selected. Dang. And they get pulled out onto the street. But there's, you know, some of the main characters, so, you know.
Yeah. No. I think I've seen the first one and that first Purge.
Last one.
The first one and then the title First Purge. And I don't think I've seen any of the ones in between. So
yeah, the ones in the middle are really, especially the third one, election year, because that one, you know, it's been, you know, years and years since the Purge has been implemented in government because there's a whole thing where the Founding Fathers regime has taken over, you know, and whatever.
Oh, dang, we're big brothering now, eh?
Yeah, like real hard. It's a regime, and then it's dumb that they have a president, but the president is a candidate that is selected from the Founding Fathers regime.
Oh, and there's that lady that's trying to take over, huh?
Yeah, and so the cool thing about her backstory is, which I already told y'all, spoiler alert for the Purge movies, she... you know, has grown up with there being a purge. And in her backstory, you find out that she's super anti-purge because when she was younger, when she was like a teenager, someone broke into their home during purge and, you know, tied all of them up and then had the mom to choose one person to live.
Dang.
And she was the only one to survive and everyone else in her family was murdered. Now, the crazy part is he had made like a purge playlist. So I can't remember what song is playing. But low key, it's a bop, and I'm like, dang, they ruined that song for her. But yeah, I don't know. The Purge movies are good. Damn, I like them. The show's good too. I only seen the first season, but that was pretty good too. I thought it was gonna be different. I thought it was gonna be like, you know, the whole year, you know, leading up to. But it was really, pretty much basically the day. And then you just have a whole bunch of different characters. And then when I was watching, I was like, how are these characters connected? And then it makes sense. You're like, dang.
Sad face.
But then at the same time, like, the whack thing about the purges, someone can decide to try to purge you for something dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which happens in the show. There was one person who, a guy opened the door, like, for them. And they didn't say thank you.
Damn.
And so he added her, unfortunately, to his purge list. And I was like,
it's like me.
Wow.
Okay. So today,
the bar is so low.
Yeah. So like today at work, we do appointments, right, for the COVID swabbing. And this lady, okay, so I'm there till 4:15, but all the appointments stop at 3:45 so far. And we only give them up to 15 minutes to be late. And this lady had an appointment at, I think she said 3:30, and it was 4:00. And she comes running in. I would have added her to my purge list real quick. I'm like, hold on, give me that first and last name.
I would have told her, we gave your dose away.
No,
oh, no, you're doing the swabbing.
The swabbing, yeah.
I'm like, we gave your swab kit away.
Nah, we still took
We
her.
took a walk-in, and we only have a certain amount of kits per day, and we no longer have your kit.
I know.
I would look her dead in her face and be like, you're going to have to make a new appointment.
No, I took her, but she sure would have been in my purge list. Like, bitch, you
But
was
you
late.
know,
You gotta be there on time. Like, I'm sure.
I still think that's a better reason than you didn't say thank you when somebody held open the door. Because, like, okay, on the flip side, in the second Purge movie, there's one character who he is out there because his whole plan is that he's going to purge somebody. And then on top of that, he premeditated disable somebody's security system before. And I'm like, dang, like, you got to watch yourself 24/7 because somebody could literally mess your stuff up the night before the purge and then come and purge you. But yeah, and so the reason why he was going to go out and purge somebody, and it was only going to be one person specifically because they had run over and murdered his child.
That makes perfect sense.
I think they were under the influence, and then, you know, because they have money and connections or whatever, they were able to get off with no repercussions.
That's how it be, though.
And so I'm like, something like that, I 100% can understand.
That should just be legal. Okay.
Wild West rules.
Style, yep.
But
meet me at dawn.
Man, duel 10 paces. Let's go.
Andrew Jackson.
And I'm not gonna take Alexander Hamilton's plan either. I know you haven't seen it. Harry doesn't like musicals, which I love musicals, and my plan is to go to see live ones when the world opens back up. But anyway, in Hamilton, like you see 3 different duels happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one is just to introduce you to the rules of the duel and everything, whatever. And the person that gets shot doesn't die. The second one, it is Alexander Hamilton's son, and he tells him basically, like, you don't need to do this. Like, when you go, just point your gun straight up to the sky, because then he'll know, like, you're not shooting, and then you guys can call it off or whatever.
That doesn't sound like it worked.
It did not work. His son got shot, and he died. And then...
Wow. Like,
and then the last duel...
First of all, I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. But, like, that makes no kind of sense. Like, if y'all are gonna shoot at one moment, when you... Mm-hmm. No one, like, that split second of you going up, like, no one's gonna wait to see if you're gonna put the gun up. Like, you just...
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then you're like...
Nobody take that advice unless you want to get shot.
Exactly. So I'm just like...
No, and then... Girl, yes. And then in the last duel, Alexander Hamilton... he's in the duel and he does the same thing and gets shot and dies.
Oh, his best friend kills him, right?
It's not his best friend, but they like run into each other a lot.
Oh, okay.
But the crazy part is, like, literally in the first song, like in the beginning of the play, that character tells you that he killed him. And then when it happens, you're just like,
you did it.
He died.
Like, I told you guys, I killed him. Like, y'all thought I was playing.
Man, no, and then people are cracking jokes because there's one line in the sub where he's like, "You're not gonna make my daughter orphan." And like, historically speaking, his child was grown at that time. His daughter was grown.
Damn.
I don't know. You should watch. God. Like, Hamilton's really good. I know you don't like musicals, especially like the first half. Like,
Isn't
I like the
it
first half
3 hours?
better than the second. Yeah, there's an intermission like literally on it when you watch it on Disney Plus. Like, there's literally an intermission. Get up, use the restroom and stuff.
You know what? When I get my real job, we'll watch it. I gotta.
No, you're not gonna have it.
I will. I have always remembered.
No, later you're gonna be humming songs. You'll be like, "Where is that from? Where have I heard?"
I'm like, Kim, have you ever heard of this?
And I'm gonna be like, "Yes, Stay Alive" from Hamilton. Like, we watched that last month. And you were like, "Oh,
that shit's been stuck in my head."
No, what I really want to go see when the world opens back up is 6. It is a musical, and the characters are King Henry VIII's 6 wives.
Oh.
And they each have a song about their term as his wife.
Yeah.
I be listening to the soundtrack. Like, I watched the bootleg on YouTube because there's like musical bootlegs hidden on YouTube, and it's really good. And then so sometimes I be listening to the soundtrack when I'm walking to work.
You know what?
Jamming.
I would not mind watching them live. I think like watching them live, it's like going to a concert.
It's
you know
an
what I mean?
experience. Yeah, it's an experience.
It's really cool. But I wouldn't want to like go home and watch it. Like that's just, you know.
Yeah.
Unless it's Phantom of the Opera. That's like the exception. Moulin Rouge, I also really like. What other?
Do you like Grease?
No.
Most people like Grease.
I do not like Grease.
I like Grease. I like Grease
seen it
too.
Already.
I
saw Grease too. I even saw Hairspray. And I was like, these are not for me.
Too. I don't know. I like those 50s musicals because I also like Cry Baby. Like, I've seen both Hairsprays. Like the old one and the new one. And I've seen the live one.
Yeah, like I saw them and I'm like, they were not
fun.
For me.
They're fun. Chicago, you know, murder.
I do want to watch Burlesque.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen the movie?
No, I haven't seen the movie. I did see Coyote Ugly. Does that count?
Yeah, no, it's a completely different thing. I told you the other day I watched Rock of Ages.
Oh,
and that one is hilarious. Tom Cruise is in there as a rock star that's going solo. Oh my God,
Tom Cruise.
And girl, they put like the fake tattoos on him. They gave him the long hair. He has like the bandana, like Axl Rose on his head. Mm-hmm. He had like a tattoo of a gun, like holstered. And then when you first see him, he has like this, like chaps, like assless chaps on. Mm-hmm. And then his underwear is like I don't know if it's devil or demon in the crotch area, but it's like it's bold and it's like looks like it's metal. Like that character is interesting. And then he sings, I don't know why his version of Wanted Dead or Alive was stuck in my head like for that whole week. Oh, because you're like Tom Cruise, but
no, like you cannot sleep on Tom Cruise. Like, first of all, I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan anyway, but his performance on Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah,
that shit.
One thing Tom Cruise will do is randomly step out of the box, you know.
And he steps out of it so good. Like, girl, I can't forget. Oh man, at the end when he does his whole little like song and dance, man, it's just funny. I just think it's funny how because he told him he wanted to be in it. He's like, I want to sing and dance, and I want big hands.
The crazy part is when you first watch Tropic Thunder, you like don't even realize that's him at first.
No.
I remember when I first watched it, I didn't even think about it, and when I watched it again, I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, is that Tom Cruise? And then you watch the credits and you're like, that is Tom.
Yes. He was so good. Like, Tom Cruise is one of the people who really makes that movie, and I am going to watch that today.
There's a lot of good performances across that.
Oh
movie.
No, definitely. But that Tom Cruise,
and that was just a little thing that happens towards the end.
Honestly, for me, that's just what made it. Like
he said he wanted big hands.
Yeah. If you ask me any of the stuff that I remember most of the Tom Cruise scenes. And it's just because...
Which is not a lot. It's not a lot with him.
Those are the ones I remember, though. And I'm a goldfish.
Yeah, because they have that whole thing where they have all of these actors who are, like, in big movies, but they're on different, like, types of movies. So you have Ben Stiller, and he's, like, the action hero. And then you have... Robert Downey Jr., who's supposed to be like the thespian, the one that like really gets into his roles and stuff, takes serious things. And then you have Jack Black, who's like the comedian. And they're all supposed to be filming this war movie, but then they end up in like actual enemy territory. But
so good.
And then the whole thing about Robert Downey Jr.'s since he's a method actor, he decided that he wanted to play a character of color, and so he got his skin change and his hair change and all of that. And it's just like, especially like, okay, back then it was funny, even though it was just like never would I have watched a movie like that. But then now 100% you couldn't do that.
No,
you cannot do that.
Things have changed.
You cannot do that. Things have definitely changed, and people complain about it, but in some cases like that, it's for the better, because people be acting like, oh, racism is so far away. No, it's not.
No.
And then because you see it, like when you watch some of these older movies that you like, and then the depictions of people of color, or they'll have a white person and like brown them up or not, and try to give them features of the ethnicity that they're playing.
Yeah.
And it's always very stereotypical, and it's always very rude.
Yeah. And let's not forget, Like, a lot of Disney movies have to have a lot of these disclaimers now because, you know, there's
Oh, yeah. I heard they were putting a disclaimer on Gone with the Wind, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what's funny? And I think about it all the time. It's like one day I'll sit down and watch them. Like, I'm a, like, film person. Like, I like watching movies. Like, I like watching, you know, old, new, and everything. But 2 movies that I have not seen, which I know people are probably going to be like, dang, you haven't seen that? Because I talk about movies all the time, are Gone with the Wind and Casablanca. And I have not seen either of them. But if there was a contest and somebody showed me a clip of either of them, I would know what it was. But I just have never seen those movies.
Yeah, I think I've seen Gone with the Wind just because Christina has seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But Casablanca,
I know it's iconic. A lot of people talk about it. But
yeah, no, but she really likes this movie. Like, she gets into it. She's like,
mm-hmm. And I know it's kind of long too.
Oh, girl, it's long. Sorry, I'm sorry. We went on a whole tangent, Carlos. You're probably gonna have to cut out most of this.
I was like, dang, should like
my bad.
We hold this and just talk about movies for this whole episode?
No.
Because I'm like, I can hold it, and then we talk about movies, because, you know, I love talking about movies.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm not really good at talking about movies. Like, it's just gonna be me sitting here laughing.
You've seen some of these movies.
Yeah, but, you know, like, I don't remember really.
Like a Good Burger, where he gives him the contract. He's like, I know some of these words.
Oh, man. All right, sorry. They were on the tree line.
I'm still thinking about movies. Hold on. Let me just get myself together. No, because in my mind, I was like, we should, like we ever get more, like, subscribers or whatever, or if we start playing video game, like, streaming it, we should stream, like, watching a movie.
That would be fun. Like, I wanted to do one of those, like, because, you know, obviously we can't fucking stream it, really, because I don't know the
like
technicalities.
Do like a watch along.
Yeah, watch along, and I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think we'd have to plan that out.
But we have to learn how to stream first, so baby steps. We gotta get your gaming computer. We gotta get a game we can play together.
Yeah.
Carlos is probably gonna have to set both of us up on how to stream. Because matter of fact, I think I have what's the name of that program? The one that people be using to stream. I forget what it's called. Because I wanted to learn how to do it, and I downloaded it because it's free. Maybe I got rid of it. Because I don't remember what it's called.
I'm asking Carlos for a refill.
But, yeah, he'll just have to help us both set it up so we can stream some games.
Yeah,
all right. Tell him to bring you some crackers or something, too.
Oh, do you have any crackers?
Tell him you haven't eaten all day.
Because I haven't eaten, and that's what I've had. And I'm a little, like, I'm just a slightliest bit tipsy, but my words are starting.
You want some tostadas?
I don't want no tostadas.
That's some food. You better eat those beans.
No! No! He can't make me.
That actually sounds kind of good. I wish I had that.
Okay,
I'll just have whiskey sour. That's all I need.
Okay, well, I'm like, you already talk a whole lot during this podcast. Let's see how much of this I can even get in.
I'm so
you
sorry.
Don't drink 2 of those suckers. I better speed up right now before you get the second one.
It's because I get so excited. Okay, go.
I know. When stuff starts happening, you be like, wait. Okay.
I can't help it.
All right, so the first 2 bodies are found in the tree line about a mile away from the camp. Yuri, and I'm not totally sure how to pronounce his name because people was pronouncing different. I thought it was to be honest, I thought it was Georgie with an extra letter.
Georgie.
But well, it's Russian, so it's not gonna have that accent either.
Oh shit, Russian. Georgie. I don't know.
They were found. The weird thing was the 2 bodies were found, and they were only wearing basically underwear, no shoes.
Oh my god, why does that always happen in these cold ass temperatures?
Well, I can explain that, but let me get to it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so they find those 2 bodies, and then they're like, okay, whatever. They're like, let's find everybody else. They move down about halfway-ish in between. They find 2 more bodies, and it is Ooh, I wrote small. It is Igor, who was the leader of the group, and you know what it's named after, and Xena, who was one of the 2 women who were on the trip. Everybody else was a dude. There was 2 women, so they find those
princess.
2. Well, her name was longer than that, but that was her nickname. Her name was, I think it's Zenaida, but whatever, Xena. They find them 2, and it looks like that they were walking between the 2 sites. So it looks like they were maybe down where the other 2 were, and they were coming back up, walking to where everybody else was.
Okay.
They were under a few feet of snow, a layer of snow.
Did they have 2 different campsites?
Well, that's the thing. It's a little confusing because it kind of seems like maybe they were abandoning one for another one, but that's in the we don't know. Because that down there with those 2, there wasn't really anything there. And then, you know, also, I don't think they had shoes on either. The shoe thing is very weird because at the end of the day, like with all the bodies, there was only like 2 people with shoes on. Everybody else didn't have shoes on. And they're in freezing conditions, so that doesn't make sense at all.
Did they at least have socks?
Girl, nobody even mentioned anything about socks, so I don't know. No, because I remember somebody in a few of the videos, they talk about barefoot prints, barefoot.
Oh my God.
So no socks. All right, so a little bit further, they find, what is this? That was 2 people. Here's a 5th person. His name was Roostin. And he was found a little bit deeper in the snow, deeper layers in the snow. He had a fractured skull for some reason.
Murder.
So all of these people, all of those first 5 were ruled as they died from hypothermia.
Okay.
So from the, you know, freezing temperatures.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes, because, you know, I'll get to like the theories on what happened, but that makes sense because of, you know,
it's cold,
the lack of clothing. Well, no, one of the symptoms of like hypothermia is, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think I slightly remember that because you'll talk about it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, the doctors ruled their deaths as hypothermia. Now, the last 4 bodies weren't found until 2 to 3 months later, under 13 feet of snow.
Oh my, okay. So I have a question. So, like you were saying, pretty much each one of these, like the snow was getting higher and higher. So does that mean that those people died first, and then the other people died because they had less snow, and then the like, you know, the order of death?
Well, it could be either or because some people think that it was the other way around.
What?
That Yuri and Georgie left first, and that they froze first, and it came up this way. So maybe they left, and then, you know, the others went looking for them, and then was coming back up. So I don't know. We don't know. We weren't there. All right. So anyway, the last 4 bodies were found 2 to 3 months later, under 13 feet of snow.
Fuck.
So we have Nikolai. He had a fractured skull. We have, I like where everybody's name's small. Luda, who was the other of the 2 women, she had crushed ribs.
Oh my God.
Her tongue was missing.
Her tongue was missing?
She either had missing or sunken eyes.
Oh.
Like her eyes was basically gone.
What the fuck? Okay, so
let me finish the rest of the injuries.
Okay, please.
So then there was another guy named Yuri, because I guess that's oh no. So next we have Alex, who had a broken nose and a neck injury.
What is going on?
Yeah. And then on top of that, these people are wearing some of the clothes that belonged to some of the others who had been found earlier, who had left. That's why people think like as extra layers. So that's why they're thinking that the other ones left first without their clothes for some reason. And then this group, they're like, whatever, they left and they left their clothes. And so they doubled up on layers and wore some of their clothes. Now, those clothes, for some reason, end up being radioactive when they were tested. And in fact, there was radiation found lightly all over the camp.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
The tent, which we'll talk about the tent because it's interesting. The tent was ripped from the inside, cut from the inside. Like they cut their way out of the tent. And there was no evidence of an outsider or anything finding them.
That's crazy. You know
now,
what? Yes, please.
So remember, we talked about this is what was found when they found them. We're gonna rewind towards when they set off on this expedition.
Okay.
You know, they're all college students. They're all in their early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
They all know each other from school. This was only supposed to be a 16-day trip.
Okay.
They were all experienced, you know, hikers and travelers. They were gonna go. I don't know why they would need to, you know, hike up all this rough terrain to go skiing, but hey, some people have fun differently than others.
Very much so.
You know, this is Russia in the 50s. You know, this is what they used to do.
But definitely, like, also, like, in Russia, it snows a lot. So I'm sure they're like, it's just some snow. Like, whatever. We got this shit, you know?
Exactly. We're used to this. We do this all the time.
Yeah, and, you know, Russians are some tough-ass motherfuckers. So they were just like, we got this shit, you know?
Yeah. So, basically, you know, they're all going on their trip. We have... Let me read you everybody's names.
Yeah, please. I remember, like...
there's several of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Igor Dyatlov, and they end up naming, you know, the whole incident after him because he was the leader of the group. Mm-hmm. He was the one that organized this, met everybody. He was 23. Mm-hmm. We have Yuri Doroshenko. Mm-hmm. We have Ludmila Dumina.
That sounds so nice. Uh-huh. If someone could say that for me,
save
please.
some of these. Save some of these for all your various children's names. We have Georgie, who I guess his nickname was also Yuri.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Alexander Kolvaktov. We have Zenaida Kolmogrovova. We have Rustem Slobodin.
They really like them bees, don't they?
Yeah, I told you, they're using different letters than we're using. We have Nikolai Thibault Grignolet. You know, the worst part is I tried to practice these names and it's still not working out.
You know what? Whenever I have different, like, I will listen to the, like, audio on how people say it and I'll practice it. But once we're recording, I'm like, fuck.
like how did they say it? Exactly. Because I watched several videos and they're mentioning these people's names all day and retained none of the information. And then, let me get to the last two people. So we have another Yuri Uden. Mm-hmm. And so he had actually set off the journey with this group because, let me tell you, they had to take 2 trains, a bus, and a passenger truck just to get up there, which took a couple of days before they even started hiking.
That's a lot of work.
And I guess during this time he got sick, and so he turned back. He
survived?
Yeah, he did not go. Like, he, you know, started the trip, got sick, and went back home.
You know what? Okay, yeah, please continue. I think I know this story because I think this is the one that I'm talking about. I think I'm getting confused with a different one. But I've heard
like there's 2 similar ones and you're mixing them?
Yeah.
All right. So then we have the last person this person they met, you know, on the way there because they were supposed to be going on with a different group, a similar path, but doing something different. I don't remember what the other group what happened to them because nobody ever really talks about them. They just specify that he was supposed to be going with a different group and he's also much older. Semyon, whose nickname is also Alexander, but they were calling him Sasha.
Oh.
So, like, they mentioned Sasha, and that's him. I don't know. He had too many nicknames.
Yeah.
But he was 38. Mind you, everybody else is, like, 24 and younger. And so he pretty much is like, hey, let me just go with you guys. I'm experiencing this area, and I still would like to make this trip, even though the group that I originally was going to go to does not. At first, I guess the group, they didn't really know about him because they didn't know him. Like, they all know each other. But then after a while, because they took journals and they, you know, they journaled. And they also had cameras and they took pictures. And so I guess after a day or two, like, they ended up just, you know, accepting him in the group and everything was chill. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they did not really know him like that. And so the guy Yuri, remember, he went back home. Well, the second Yuri or whatever, he went back home, and then everybody else went on this trip.
Mm-hmm.
So about January 30th, before that point, everything was all like good. The trail was pretty regular. It's sunny. There's an actual like trail that they can follow. They're having a good time. Pictures is happy. They're having
No
fun.
snow.
It's not like, there's snow, but it's not snowing, you know?
Oh, okay. Light snow.
Yeah. Like, it's snow already on the ground, but it's not coming from the sky.
Got it.
You get to January 30th, the weather changes. It gets colder. It starts snowing.
Mm-hmm.
The woods are a little bit harder to navigate, and there's no more visible trail.
Oh, shit.
But, they have their directions, their maps and stuff, and they know how to read all of that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. The journal entries also end the next day. That day, I guess they got into an argument because, their mood changed because the weather changed and they are grumpy.
Uh-huh.
I guess, I forget which one, but one of the girls decided, like, once they decided, oh, okay, let's set up camp, she just laid down, did nothing. And they all, had a rule, like, we all got to do something and we can't sit down, lay down till, we finish.
Yeah.
And so her and another guy got into an argument or whatever. And because I guess there was the tent that they had was a custom built tent that Igor had customized.
For this trip?
It was, yes. They were all sleeping in the same tent.
Mm-hmm.
It was 13 feet.
Wow.
It was triangular with ropes and rods. Mm-hmm. It also had a collapsible like chimney space so that they can place like their camping oven in there for warmth. They're all, staying in this big tent.
That's nice.
Yeah. And he, customized it. But I guess, I don't know how they had it set up, but I guess every night, like, somebody had to, like, sew up a spot or something. Like, I don't know if they had to rip it open every day, like, one spot and then sew it back up, but whatever. It was open. Somebody needs to patch it up. The guy that she got in an argument with, pretty much told her, like, look, we can't chill until that gets done. But then he also wasn't volunteering to do it either, so.
Wow.
Whatever. But yeah, so the next day, the 31st, that's when there's no more journal entries. There's only a few photos. February 1st, this is when they have the last of the photos. They set up camp on the northern slope of the mountain. And remember, they were supposed to be back about February 12th.
Yeah. Man, this is barely February 1st.
Yes.
So how many days in are we right now?
It's just a few. I think they left about the 23rd of January. Or like right before that, either the 20th or 23rd. Yeah, I know. And then, because remember they had to take the trains and the buses and the truck and everything. So that took a few days before they even started hiking.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's photos from the first, but they're not this. They're like not the same. Like they don't have the same feel as the photos they took before. Like they don't look fun. Everything just looks white.
Wow.
With like dark figures because it's just snowing.
Mm-hmm.
It does not look like they're having a good time.
Well, yeah, it's fucking cold.
And then there's a photo that's like out of focus, and it kind of looks like white light, like was moving. And so people were saying the only way that could have happened, like that type of effect could happen, is if somebody took a photo and like moved a light source around.
Yeah, like a flashlight or something, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's all they have from them.
Oh my god, what if at this point they're seeing the aliens and like, holy shit, and someone's like, how right now we like grab the phone, we gotta record this on live, but instead they're like, grab the camera, let's gotta take a picture, we gotta let people know.
Exactly, because it's 59. All right, so let's get into the theories. There's a whole bunch of them, but I chose 4 that were like, I guess the most popular because they're the most interesting. And some of them are the most logical. So the first one,
I'm going to aliens.
I thought was a little bit funny. And I guess the Discovery Channel or something has even made like a documentary talking about this. I did not watch it because it sounded nonsensical. Because sometimes the History Channel, Discovery Channel got real good stuff, and other times you're like, okay, so who's in charge of this? Who checked these facts? But so the first theory I would like to talk about is that it was a Yeti attack.
Oh my God.
And I've seen a couple of videos where people had, because a lot of people, it's just like, I don't know. And it was funny because the friend that told me about this, I was like, that's crazy. Like, I don't understand why people do this, where somebody goes on some sort of camping trip or whatever, and then everybody wants to follow their footsteps and take the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me at all, but whatever. And so this is, other people try to take their same route or whatever. Mm-hmm. And in that area, people have had some strange occurrences.
That's crazy.
The thing is, when you break it down, there's no evidence of a Yeti or an animal or anything around the camp.
Yeah.
But people do cite that one of the photos looks, Yeti/Bigfoot-ish.
Which
but at the same time,
show me this picture.
But at the same, I gotta find them. Because I thought I was supposed to put them on here because I looked at everything on my phone, but let me look it up.
I'm like, you're talking about all this stuff. I want pictures. I want to see. Like, I want to feel like I'm right there. Like, put me there. But I don't physically want to go there.
Yeah, you're like, I don't, like, actually want to be there. I just, I want to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people who would want to recreate it. Now, if it was, like, at a hotel or something like that, like, okay, like, maybe I'll go. But I'm not going to go take a fucking 4-day bus ride and
oh yeah, I know, like
hashtag respect, but that is not me.
But yeah, so I guess one of the photos, where is it? Because I see, oh, here we go.
I'm so scared. Oh my God, I'm so nervous.
Oh, I can show you what everybody looks like.
Hold on, let me take a sip. I'm so scared.
Okay, so these are the people.
Oh wow.
This is Igor. He was the leader at the bottom.
Very distinguished people.
Yeah,
look at how happy they are there.
Yeah, like these are their actual photos. These are.
Oh my God, that's so like. Oh my God,
these are their actual photos. So like they were having a good time camping, out there, like having fun. Like they're taking
they're young people out for a good time. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, this is the route. So look, I didn't even look at this one. It takes the train route, the bus, and then
the ski ledge, ski sledge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, is that the one survivor?
I think so, because he died, like, I think it was 2013. Dang, they showing everything but the photo I want to show you. There it is.
Is that a Yeti in the background?
The thing is that could be any of them,
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, it probably could be someone who just got out from taking a dump behind a tree or something like that. But that could definitely also be a Yeti.
Because remember, they also have all of this gear. And, like, when we were seeing in the pictures, they have all of this stuff on because they're out there in the cold. Like,
my God.
Yeah. And then the issue is, because from when they found them, everything's like water damage and stuff. So they weren't even able to, get a lot of the photos.
Y'all go to the Instagram and look at this picture, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's fucking Yeti. But at the same time, it's a fucking alien. Like, I don't know.
Y'all gotta remind me to get the photos. All right. So theory number 2, that it was a Soviet missile, like Soviet test missile.
Uh-huh.
Now, remember, this is during... Right? Yeah, this is during, everybody is racing to get to
that Yeti from me. I'm so scared.
Everybody is racing, to get into space.
Yeah.
They're competing with us, so it would make sense that they were out there testing missiles and stuff without telling people about it. Because the thing is, there is no evidence of an explosion or record of a launch, but the government doesn't tell us diddly squat.
Exactly what I was thinking.
And so they could have 100% done that and not said anything nor ever owned up to it.
100. Yes.
So the Yuri that got sick and did not complete the journey, they used him to identify the campsite, bodies? The stuff that they had, and and the people and whatnot. He was able to identify most things, but there were handfuls of things that he was like, I don't know what this is.
Tell me now.
I don't know what this is. So I know the main thing was like there was some cloth, and they were like, this looks like military grade cloth. I don't know what military grade cloth looks like, but
that's
whatever.
what it looks like.
And so some people believe that the government got to that campsite first.
No.
For whatever reason.
Don't fuck
and cleaned some things up and then, left it. Because, based on these injuries, because most of them were like, internal injuries.
Yeah.
They could have been caused by an explosion of some sort.
Wow.
But then the issue is, we talked about, you know, bare footprints and things.
Mm-hmm.
The footprints that are left that are bare, a lot of them, like all of them, don't look like anyone was in a hurry. All the way to the point where it looks like one person was stepping on top of someone else's footprints on purpose. So it's like,
cover up,
like
cover
ain't
up.
Nobody rushed out or so, like it just looks too calm. Like they didn't run from anything. They walked away from.
Oh my
that
god,
tent.
Toki in the mirror. God damn you, dog.
But yeah, so.
Oh god. So wait,
that's. Mm-hmm.
So some of these people think that just because people were going on top of their footprints is like.
Well, it was just one person. So they're saying that it looks like they walked away. They weren't in a rush. They weren't in a hurry. They walked out from where they were in like a calm, like in a line, calmly walked out. It wasn't like they rushed out and ran or anything, you know, the ones who left the tent.
Yeah, and then an explosion happened or something like that, and then that's when all shit went down.
Maybe, yeah.
And then the government came in and, you know, fucked some shit up so it could look weird.
Cleared up the evidence of the explosion and then moved on.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy. Like, that sounds totally plausible. Like, I don't know.
I know. The issue is that all of these actually sound pretty plausible. I mean, the one that I'm kind of like iffy about is the Yeti one, but the rest of the theories that I'm going to give you, I'm like, okay, I can totally see that. I can totally see that. I can totally see that.
But hold on, I can totally see Yeti too. Like, imagine you're in your fucking... Okay, so that day when that happened, did they sew up the tent or no?
Well, the thing is, I don't know. They didn't talk about it. I'm pretty sure they did because it looks like, you know, they were inside the tent, you know, camp set up and they cut their way out. So I'm pretty sure whatever the spot that they needed to sew was sewn up, but they cut their way out of the tent. Okay. So it didn't matter at that point.
Okay. So okay, check this out. All right. We're laying on the tent. We're with them, right? And all of a sudden at night, you just hear... And you wake your homie up like, hey, do you hear that? And you're like, yeah, I hear that. And all of a sudden, you just start seeing, like, stuff, and you're freaking out. You're like, yo, there's something out there. So all of a sudden, you grab your knife, you cut that shit open, you jump out, and all of a sudden, you see a fucking Yeti outside. And you're like, ah! And then everyone starts freaking out. They get out, and a Yeti grabs someone, fucking slings them, throws them around, broken ribs.
The crazy part is I can 100% see that. Yeah. That's not how I would have handled the situation. But remember, half of them were still in the tent.
Yeah, and then afterwards, fucking Yeti goes in the tent because, you know, there's always going to be the brave ones. You know what I mean? You're always going to have...
Or the non-brave ones that stay inside.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to have the brave ones and the one... they're going to get out the tent. Yeah, and then once those brave ones are gone, everyone's scared, huddle inside, and the Yeti's like, what's up, bitches? And just goes in there and just starts grabbing people, like... But the radiation, though, where does that come from?
Yeah, Yetis don't... Question. I don't know nothing about Yetis having radiation.
Yeah. But don't forget, there's always that fucking possibility. People always think that aliens can take different forms. And you know, when aliens come down, fucking radiation's always left in that bitch. All right.
Let me get to the last, because there's only 2 more theories that I want to talk about. Let me get to them.
Okay, so we went through Yeti.
And then the Soviet test missile.
Which that was like the most plausible one, but I like to be whimsical.
So far. Well, okay, we're going to do another like... plausible one, I guess.
All right, let's do it.
So the next one, which is also the most these last 2 are the 2 like most popular theories. One of them is what regular people would call realistic, and the other one is what we're probably going to settle on as what really happened. All right. So the next one is an avalanche. Now
avalanche.
They had closed this case up, and which was another thing that people felt suspicious because they closed it up pretty quickly. What? And like classified it and whatnot. And so that's why people were leaving like government like interference with it. But the avalanche one, which is what they kind of like landed on, and then they've even like reopened it like I think 2019, like recently, and they're still leaning on this avalanche thing.
Well, yeah, so, most positive. Like,
it would explain why the tent was cut from the inside, because if they, you know, saw signs or heard it coming, that they would have ran out. Because remember, the ones who were still in there were under 13 feet of snow.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's why I thought those were the first people to die. You know what I mean? Like, if it's
Yeah.
snowing.
But yeah, that kind of turns everything the opposite way. Like, that they would have died first and then the other way around. But it's like, why were they wearing the other guy's clothes? Unless it was a combination of those things, which some people think too. Yeah. So remember, most of these people, they were, just put it up as death by hypothermia.
Yes.
Now, hypothermia has this thing called paradoxical undressing.
Yes.
Where people will be suffering from hypothermia and they will be feeling like their skin is burning, like it is hot. And so they will remove their clothing.
Like me right now because of all this whiskey sour.
Maybe you should stop drinking.
No.
So it could have been a combination of the two. There could have been they could have all been suffering from early stages of hypothermia. And then, the ones that left had the more severe cases, which caused them to walk out. Yeah. Which the first two guys, since they were basically in their draws, they could have been out first. They had the worst of it, and they walked out thinking that they were fine. And then you could have had the other three people went to go look for them to bring them back to the camp, and then it got too cold, and they ended up dying on the way there because of hypothermia. And then the rest of the people could have gotten the avalanche at the end.
I can't. This
because that would make sense. That would make sense with the the various layers of snow and everybody's placement. Yeah, and why certain injuries were, because the people at the most injuries were the ones at the campsite. Yeah, and then everybody else was just not properly dressed and froze to death, basically.
Which definitely makes sense because snow is fucking heavy. People don't want to say that, but if you got avalanched on, that shit's heavy. Like, I'm sure if you got all that fucking ice, like snow on you, some ribs are breaking. So that makes total sense. But
but it does not explain what happened to homegirl's tongue and eyes. Yes! And then Sasha, his eyes were also missing. I don't remember if I told you that or not, but his eyes were also missing. So it's like, what happened here? What's going on? So there's some clues, there are pieces of this puzzle that are missing.
But let's not forget, there are animals out in the woods. So maybe if it was an avalanche, some animals are like scavengers. Maybe they're like, ooh, let me take this eyeball, let me take this tongue. And they're like, ooh, mate, never mind. Like, this is not for me.
I do think part of the puzzle pieces that are missing are that whoever was in charge of note-taking did a poor job. Because there's some stuff where it's just like small notes. Where it's like, if you would have taken more detailed notes in your profession, which, and people who like coroners and things like that, people who do these rescues and observe these bodies, you're supposed to take detailed notes so that you have everything down. And some of these notes is just like tongue missing, moved on, no notes about it, that's it. Like,
but did they take pictures though? Well, we don't know, right?
Of the bodies.
Are you fucking serious?
Not like it's not detailed.
Okay,
to be honest,
like, I think about it like, the way it is with us, like in regular, thank you. But in regular, like, policing, right? When there's a body, they take very detailed pictures to make sure they see like what it is. And if they take notes, they'll like vaguely explain it, like check exhibit 1, exhibit 2, or whatever, right? But the thing is, like, this is in the 1950s,
Well, I still feel like even at this time, I'm pretty sure they usually take more detailed notes. I don't know, whoever it was, I just kind of feel like they were lazy.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm sure it was cold as fuck.
Yeah, they just wrote down just the basics.
They were trying to get the fuck out of it. It was cold and creepy, I bet.
They probably were like, obviously this was an avalanche and we moving on with our lives, where it's just like, there are pieces missing, and some of these pieces I feel like could have been filled in if better notes were taken.
Definitely. But like you said, like, I can see how but I don't know, like, I don't see animals just going like, let me take a bite of this tongue, unless like the mouth was like open or something like that. Yeah. But like,
and then how come she was the only one that was missing it? Like, you know,
and eyeballs were missing from 2 people, right?
Yes, 2 people.
So it's like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. If you guys fucking know, let us know, because like I am fucking having a fucking like mental explosion right now. I'm just like aliens, Yeti, avalanche. Okay, so we go into 3. What's 4? Aliens.
4 is where am I?
Or is there more?
No, 4 is aliens.
Yes! Okay, let's go to aliens. Oh my god.
4 is aliens. Let's hit the notes. All
Well,
right.
hold on, give me a moment. I am like... Okay,
So, just some quick notes. We talked about how they had that guy, Sasha, who they didn't really know. He was older and he was with them.
Yes, and he was the one who got sick and left, right?
No, Sasha was still with them. His body was found with them. It was one of their actual friends that got sick and left. So Sasha, he had 5 broken ribs. Mm-hmm. He is, I don't know who the other person was, but he is only one of 2 people who actually had shoes on.
Okay.
Both of his eyes were also missing. He was found with a notebook and pen in his hand, but he hadn't written anything down.
Oh my god.
He also had a camera around his neck.
A camera?
The film was greatly damaged, but there is like one photo where there's like light figures. It's like light, bright light, and then it looks like people, like figures at the bottom. I was trying to find that photo.
Because
I've seen that in like people's videos, but I don't see it like just out. Or whatever, but the report about aliens. So there were reports from other people hiking, in various areas around there of bright flying spheres.
What?
In the area.
Oh my god.
And then the fact that the case was quickly closed by the government. Very suspicious. Like,
very suspicious. Don't play with me right now.
And then just like we were just talking about the note taking, like, why didn't they take better notes,
Yeah, because they didn't want us to know. That's why.
Yeah, because to be honest, the alien theory is a combination a little bit of all of these.
Yeah.
It could checks a lot of boxes. It checks a lot of boxes. It explains a lot of stuff. Because
the government cover-up?
The government cover-up. It would explain the radioactivity. It would explain some of the photos that they recovered that look weird,
and why they wanted it to look like a fucking avalanche.
It would also explain why it seems like they weren't in a rush to leave out, like they walked out of the tent.
I'm so scared.
They didn't run. So it explains a lot of things.
Yeah. If you guys
a
don't
lot of people
know,
think aliens, like, glowing orbs and stuff. Yeah. That tells a lot.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm trying
scary.
to find this photo.
I'm so scared. Like, I'm kind of hoping you don't find the photo, but at the same time, I really want to see the photo.
And then I saw one account that claims, I forget which one of them, their family at the funeral said that their skin looked orange. And that's, from my knowledge, I don't think that's a symptom of being frozen to death. I didn't, research real hard on what it looks like when somebody freezes to death. But I never heard of people's skin turning orange.
Me neither. I've only heard of yellow, but that's usually from like hepatitis.
Usually like when people freeze, it's usually like a paler color because the blood isn't helping colorize you,
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, for some of you guys that don't know, Kim and I record at night, so I'm a little scared because right now, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like noises outside, like dogs barking and dogs freaking out. So I'm low-key like slowly freaking out. So I'm hoping you find the picture, but at the same time I'm like, no, find the picture.
Maybe
but no,
not.
find the picture, please.
Oh, is this the photo?
Oh god.
It's not that bad. It's really like you can't even see that much because the film damage. But
at the same time, I know what I'm supposed to be looking for. So am I gonna see it?
Yes, I am.
It.
You're gonna find it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. She's sharing.
Okay, so this is it. So some people were saying like in the bottom that they feel like it's like figures.
I don't see anything,
there's
though.
this. I know it's very blurry. It's just bright light, like orby looking, but.
Yeah, but at the same time, I could totally see that being a flashlight. You know what I mean? Like someone's going in there to like, hey, are you okay or something?
But I don't know. A lot of people are like, what was Sasha doing? Like, cause he, had all this stuff. Seems like he was noting something down. He had his shoes on. Like, did he go outside of the tent for some reason and then came back inside of the tent to write down that he saw something? Because like you said, being out in the woods, you hear something.
Yeah.
And then some people are going to go check it out and some are not.
Yeah. And he didn't have time to write it down at all.
At all, because, they all of those inside the tent got crushed. But then at the same time, it's just like,
Oh my
Like, what did he see? Why was he out there? Because he has, his notebook, his pencil. He got a camera on.
Yeah, like, he's really about to investigate some shit,
Yeah, and it's like, what was he doing? What was going on? And then at the same time, like, why did they cut the tent open?
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, the only reasonable explanation I can definitely see is definitely the avalanche, because, like, all people who have, like, a sane brain are gonna go, obviously, avalanche. But at the same time, like, you gotta, like, I think about it if it was me, you know what I mean? If I hear some creepy shit going outside, I just want to get the fuck out of there and, like, lose it as quickly as possible. So I'm gonna cut the bitch open, because there's only two ways to do it. Either you cut the fucking nicely sewed area, or you cut the fucking tent. And, when you're in fight or flight mode, you're not thinking about, oh, let me, like, patch this up. You're just like, I need to get out, and you cut it and you go,
Yeah. I don't know, but that's basically it. I know that they have reopened the case.
What?
But they're still leaning towards the avalanche theory.
Yeah. Well, that makes the most logical sense.
That's the most logical out of the four. But at the same time, like, that alien one's looking real shiny, like,
girl. And
it checks a lot of the boxes.
Government cover up too. Like, it puts, like, 3 things together, because the Yeti obviously does not fit in there. But like I said, a lot of people say that fucking fucking aliens could take different forms or whatever. I don't know. Like, it just depends.
That's just what the alien looks like,
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it just depends on what you believe in, because a lot of people also believe that, like, aliens could be. Remember when we were talking about Pascagoula? How fucking I forgot
the robots.
Charlie and what's the kid's name?
Oh, dang.
Fuck, and he's the one who remember. What's that kid's name? But him. Remember how for a while he was saying that just because of just for him to be able to understand, he kind of put it off as demon, right? So a lot of people say demons take many forms, blah 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 blah. And so definitely I can see, like, that happening, like the aliens trying to, like, shapeshift into, like, whatever is gonna scare you, right? Or
into, it could have been the first thing that they seen, so it could be a combo. Maybe they seen a Yeti.
Yeah,
they're like, this is what the stuff out here looks like.
They
transform into the Yeti. They happen upon this campsite, because the whole thing about, like, Yetis and Bigfoot is that, if these entities do exist, they are purposefully smart enough, and they are purposefully staying away from us. Yes, even when they come around, they will curve around us because they just don't want to deal with us at all. Which I feel you. I don't want to deal with this either.
Earth is ghetto, and you want to stay away from the humans, because humans are scary.
Man,
so, like,
I love that song so much. I was telling my coworkers, like, have you guys heard the Earth is Ghetto? Y'all look that song up. Look this up.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like,
man,
it puts 3 things, like, Yeti, okay, whatever, like, maybe Yeti, and then you ran away, and all of a sudden aliens. But it puts in together fucking government cover-up, why they would want it to be fucking an avalanche, because that makes the most logical sense. And also aliens, so I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm going, because I believe in aliens. Y'all know I believe in aliens.
Both
so
of
it's
us.
like, but at the same time, I'm so scared, because I'm so scared.
Yeah, because remember I had to stop you, because low-key you were volunteering, and I was like, wait, that's not what you mean. Let me stop you before you say. God.
Yeah,
you say you could take.
No, I know, but that's just fucking crazy. Like, oh my God, I feel so, like, this just sucks, because these were just kids who are going out to have a good time. You know what I mean? They were like, all right, we got this shit. We've gone through tougher terrain or whatever. But it's just their whole lives just completely stopped in this moment just because they wanted to go out and have some fun. And there's never no winners here, but it's just like, oh, man. Like, I'm just...
the issue is that, we live in California, like Southern California, so, y'all code and our code is not the same code.
No, no. It's definitely not.
Because I'm like, first of all, I'm always cold, so...
Yes.
And that's, we live in it's tropical out here.
We're like at 60s and I'm fucking freezing. Like,
I'm like, ooh, let me put another sweater on. What is this? And then out there,
out here with shorts
and stuff
and flip-flops.
And it's snowing lightly.
Like,
I could never.
They're like, it's -1 degree. That's nothing, you know.
They're like, oh, that's it? I don't need this jacket.
Like, I got this shit.
It's like the meme of like middle school boys don't ever want to wear a jacket. That's all of them.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I don't know. I don't know.
It's interesting. Like, shout out to Trey for telling me about it, and I looked it up and been watching videos and reading about it for a few days.
Thanks, Trey.
Because I was just like,
you got fucked up my night. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, because even like when I was reading, I think one article or like one source, because there's some stuff that like I heard and I thought was interesting, but it didn't go across multiple sources. And so I was like, I don't know if it's important or not, because you know, usually it will pop up more than once. But there was one source that even mentioned that when they started the trip and they, you know, got out there basically to the woods, that the native people who used to live in that area were like symbols carved in the trees, markings carved in the trees.
What?
And so in my mind,
hold on. Rewind and just restate everything you said, because what?
Yeah, okay, so from one of the sources that I like either read or like watched or listened to, they had mentioned that when they started on the journey, that, you know, when they got to the woods and stuff, that I guess the native people who used to live there had left markings on the trees.
No.
And so that one in my mind, I was like, that leans more to the Yeti to me.
No. Oh my god. Are you fucking serious?
But yeah, I didn't like mention it in like the actual info because I only heard that from one source, so I don't know if that was true or not.
So you telling me that these people had a whole ass warning sign, like telling them?
Well, it wasn't
like,
a warning sign. It's just like they're walking around. They're like, oh, like these are deliberate carvings in the trees. Like, what is that?
Fuck that. That's a warning sign. Like, that's either a ritual
but
or
then at the same time,
you gotta dip out of there.
We live in a post-Blair Witch society.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you see something like that, that is your cue to turn around.
Yeah, let's
Back
go.
in 50s, they're probably just like, oh, that's cool. They got little markings in the tree. And they just kept and they just kept going.
No, I'm just saying, listen, you guys. Listen, if there's something we could take away from this is don't be extra. And second, if you see some fucking markings on a tree, even if it's in fucking plain English or whatever you fucking like speak, and it says, do not come in this hoe, do not go in that hoe. Like,
do not go in that hoe.
Do not. Like, oh my god, like I cannot. I know you're saying you're not sure if whatever it is you read was like,
but it did stick out, and I did write a little note, but I didn't put it anywhere in particular because I only saw reference of that in one
definitely like
source.
You said. Yeah, like, you know, you can't trust one source. You need multiple sources. You know, what is it? Corroborate or what's that word?
Yeah, to like back up the thing. But I don't know, the Sasha, and I know everybody feels something's off about him.
Oh yeah, he's too old to be there with these kids.
Yeah, and it's like, what happened to his original group? Because I like all of the stuff that I seen, nobody mentioned like why they canceled on him or whatever. Yeah. And why was he so like hell bent on taking that trip anyway? Yeah. No, and then he was the only one he was the only one that at the time of whatever happened had gear on. Like, he was about to take some notes. Like,
yeah. I don't know.
It's real suspicious.
Well, let's not forget, he is older. So maybe he's all like, I need, because, you know, young people, they don't know. He's, you know, older, more experienced. He's like, I need to note this shit down and I need to have evidence because I need people to see this, you know. If there's no evidence, people aren't going to believe it. So maybe
but
that's
evidence
what it was.
in what? Evidence in what? What evidence was he recording?
They got him. Or maybe he did get it and that's part of the government cover-up.
He's like, missiles falling at blah, blah, blah coordinates. What is that? Plan to go back home tomorrow. And then they came and ripped those sheets
Girl, I'm just telling you, the government's really good at covering stuff up. For all we know is they could have had someone who knows how to, you know, forge signatures or forge handwritings, and they gone and rewrote the whole thing on the similar notebook because, you know, government's all extra and they can find all that shit. And then
because remember, they were gone for a while, so there was some time. But at the same time, like, what if he knew about the aliens. You know, he was familiar with that space. Mm-hmm. Maybe he had gone up there. Maybe he was trying to reconnect.
Girl, okay, what if?
Because speaking of Pascagoula, remember homie had got that transmission where it said he was the chosen one, and so he was kind of open to, you know, seeing them again because he thought that they were supposed to reconnect with him because he was the chosen one.
And they told him to bring more homies, and he's all like, "I know these people that are gonna be heading up your area right now."
Did Sasha truth or dare them? Have you seen that movie?
No.
Okay.
I've seen parts of it. I've seen
but you
parts
know,
of it.
This happens a lot in stuff. Because you know what? It also happens in It Follows. Have you seen It Follows?
Yes. Oh my god, that movie's so good. If you guys have not seen It Follows, watch it.
Yes, It Follows so good. Same thing. Where, you know, this guy who people don't really know that well, and he kind of like drops the thing on them so that he doesn't have to deal with it anymore. So what if his plan was to get the aliens or whatever it was to take these kids, well, these young adults, and then, you know, he's offering them up thinking, okay, they'll leave me alone because I gave them some new people, but then they took him out too. They weren't happy with their offering.
You know who that also sounds like? Josue Velasquez.
Oh, yeah. You know, stuff is connecting.
I'm just telling you, like,
for a second I was like, who is that? And I was like, oh no, from last week.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
the old swap out, you know?
The old swap out, yeah. I don't know, like, no, that definitely makes sense, because why was this... Okay, I don't know, because there's definitely a lot of older people that want to be hip and be with the kids or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, it's a little suspicious too, like...
The problem and then the fact that their journals... And at first they're saying like, oh, like we don't really know him, like he's a little weird, and then pretty quickly he ends up like part of the group. Yeah, no, pretty for sure. Quickly. I don't know. What if he was an alien?
That's what I was just thinking. I just didn't want to say it, but yes, I was thinking that. I'm all like, what if it was an inside job?
What if him and homegirl Luda were both aliens? Because aliens escape, you know, they escape through the eyeballs and they left out.
Yeah, because that was the two similarities between both of them, right? Yeah, and you know what they say? The eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah, it could be like in Men in Black, they had that one alien that was small and it was in like basically the whole regular human, like the regular body that looked like a human was like pretty much a robot, and they was just up in the forehead area.
Oh God. I don't know, my mind is exploding right now. You guys, if you guys have any fucking theories or anything like that, let us know. I want to know what you guys have to say, because I can keep going. This is fucking crazy.
Me too. We could just make stuff up.
Right now.
To be honest.
Make it as fact right now.
Man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we definitely got to start utilizing like hashtags when we upload these episodes so people know what we're talking about, since we don't name them after the subjects that we talk about.
Yeah, but I'm just blown away right now. Like, this is fucking crazy. What the fuck just happened to us right now? Like, I know we just died in an avalanche, but like, what really happened? What happened to?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's that about that.
That's definitely that about that, because oh my God. Whew. Wow.
The Dyatlov Pass incident.
Oh shit, that was fucking hardcore. You know what? I think there's another incident like this, but I think it happened in Mount Everest. I think people were trying to climb Mount Everest, and it was something similar, and I think that's where they had like the
folded clothes. Because that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Where somebody was on a mountain and then, you know, they either went missing or were found dead and their clothes were neatly folded or something weird.
Yeah. No,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it's just crazy because I think that happened. Mount Everest is in America, right? I know I sound totally stupid right now, but like...
We don't know mountains.
I'm not a geographer. What is it? Geographer? That. Like, I don't know landscapes. Don't ask me. Like, even when I'm driving and stuff like that, don't ask me what street it is. I'll tell you by stuff that's around it.
We're both horrible at like
directions,
knowing,
navigating.
Navigation. I was just telling somebody else about that. I was like, when me and you were in the car,
we gonna get lost, but at least we together.
Yeah, basically, because who knows? Yeah. We don't.
Yeah, because it's crazy how it's like these places are so far apart, but similar things happen. Definitely everyone also says avalanche, I think on the other one too. Because it sounds similar. Like the stuff that we're talking about, other than Yeti, sound pretty similar. But if you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about, this other incident, please let me know.
Let us know so we can look it up.
Yes.
Comparison episode.
Exactly. And just please let us know. But it's just crazy how two things can happen very similarly in totally different parts of the world. And you know what they say, there's no coincidences in life.
None.
Just saying.
All right. So, a strange coincidence of today's card is number 16. It says, a moment's regret. We were talking about regrets. It says, nostalgia, idealizing the past, fearing you've made a mistake. So it says, second guessing your decisions, berating yourself for the choices you've made, feeling regretful and missing what was, nostalgia, living in the past, a focus on what is going wrong or what could still go wrong.
Oh yeah, definitely every day.
Let's try to stop that. Focus on the now. Don't focus on the then.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like
we all need a reminder with that sometimes.
Yeah, like I think it's it's very hard to not compare yourself to other people and where they are in life and having regrets on why I didn't do this or why I didn't do that. But you just can't forget that, life is different for everyone. We're in our course that we're supposed to be right now. And just know what we're going through right now is what we're supposed to. Not what they're going through. What we're going through.
Everything, I always feel like everything happens in the order that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, like, about my experiences with deja vu. And, like,
have
even
we,
today... Huh?
I said, have we, though?
Well, okay. We'll roll through it real quick. I experience deja vu on the regular basis, like, often. And then Hyra has introduced me to Reddit, and I am in there now.
Oh, Reddit's so good.
I've been on there's an astrology Reddit, and then there's specifically a Pisces Reddit because I'm a Pisces, which, Pisces season just started today.
You know what's so funny?
By the time this episode goes up, it would have started a week or two ago, but it's Pisces season. And so I guess this is a regular thing that a lot of us, like, just reading, like, other people's posts, a lot of us have, where I get deja vu a lot to the point where I'm like, okay. And so I just always assume that maybe I'm just lining up to where I'm supposed to
be.
Yeah, like I'm seeing the clues ahead of time, and then like whatever decisions I'm making, I still see it later because that's where I'm supposed to be at that time. So funny, today, coincidentally, I was watching a breakdown of the new WandaVision episode. And I had paused the TV to to write some notes down because I was listening to that while I was like writing, like organizing my notes. And when I looked up at the TV, deja vu hit me, and it was literally like a random frame from the show where it was like the street, and then it was like these like workers working on a light, and then the lady who was like doing the breakdown because it was her YouTube channel, and I was like, okay, things are lining up. I'm supposed to be doing this right now. Everything will work out. But yeah, I always think everything happens in the order that it's supposed to. Yeah. Whether you want it to be in that order or not. I'm like, I would have, rather if someone had swooped me up as a sugar baby at a very young age, I wouldn't have to be doing this work. But, it is what it is. Apparently, but you know what? It makes sense. Apparently, that's a trait that a lot of Pisces have, but I guess it makes sense because one of our like negative traits is that we're lazy. So that totally makes sense on why we'd all want to be sugar babies so we wouldn't have to actually work.
I know, definitely. Shoot. Oh my god, which reminds me.
Really go to work. Okay, what?
Which reminds me. I'm just a little fucking. I'm a little tipsy.
That's what I said for him to bring you some food, but you're the one that refuses to eat beans.
Listen, I think I have some fucking what's that shit called?
You could
Buffalo spot
bread or something.
I think I got some fucking meat and fries waiting for me. So, okay. Thank you guys for listening to Item 9 Podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And as always, please go ahead and message us, contact us any way you guys want. I'm a little not here, so Kim, please tell them how they can reach out to us.
Well, we have the Instagram, which is probably the best way to reach us. Item 9 Podcast, the word 9. You can email us, item9podcast@gmail.com. We have a Twitter that I don't hardly ever check, so that's probably the last place you want to go. We're also on YouTube. You can comment on our YouTube videos. Because remember, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Google Podcasts, we are on YouTube. You can leave a comment on the YouTube video of your choice of whichever episode you listen to, and we will respond. We also take suggestions.
We also take, Visa, MasterCard, whatever you guys would like.
We take suggestions, but yeah.
And we hope to see you guys again next week for another story. And never, ever forget, you're the bee's knees.
Item 9.
This is Hyra.
And Kim.
And we
that was
out.
The opposite order, but hey.
Girl, I was trying to go. You messed it up. I was like, and we is out. Should I restart?
Yeah, you just the last part.
Oh shit! What was the last part?
This is Hyra, this is Kim, and don't you ever forget you're the bee's knees.
Okay. And this is Hyra.
And Kim.
And don't you ever forget you're the bee's knees.
Item 9.
Bye.
Bye.